What's up, Wallet Monkeys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, what we're gonna talk about is getting that elusive $100,000 in credit. Now, if you remember about a month back, I was indirectly, if not directly, dogging on some program that was supposed to help you get like $100,000 in credit. And then funny enough, here we are like a month later, and what do we launch? We launched like a credit mastermind, and the focus is what? Getting $100,000 in credit. All jokes aside though, there's a reason why I did that, is because I firmly believe, even right now, shooting this, now we're, I guess, selling a program, offering it, I think it's really easy to get $100,000 in credit. I don't think that's the hard part. I think the hard part is actually figuring out what to do with that. Actually being able to then take that and grow it into something that is meaningful, right? Like if an 18-year-old were to roll up on Ben Mala right now and say, hey, how do I get into the investment game? What's the first thing you think he's gonna tell him? First thing he's gonna tell him is build up your credit, go to the bank and get a bank loan. He's not hoping that these kids ruin their life. He's not hoping that they use it as a weapon and completely destroy themselves. He's hoping they use it as a tool to start to lever up. But the thing that he doesn't talk about, and the thing that's missing, and the thing that most people don't get, is that it has nothing to do with the money. It has everything to do with what you do with it. So it's like giving them what they want while giving them what they need, or something like that. Like, everyone thinks that the big thing that they want and they need is the money. And they think, oh man, if I just had the funding, I could do this. If I just had this, I could do that, right? And the primary resource, the primary reason why, if you were to ask people what holds them back, they would just say money. Why do you not start that business? Money. Why do you not do this? Money. Nah, the credit card game is not a fair game. Let's just be honest, right? Like there's a ton of questionability within this game, right? It's not meant to be fair, but it does have a set of rules, and once you learn those rules, and once you leverage those rules, you win. You get what you want. This is literally a video game, the video game of life. And it is getting the resource that you need, because money is a tool, it's a resource that you need to then start the game, to then start to really figure out, what do I do, right? So what I thought would be cool, now that we got that huge tangent out of the way, is to go over the quick start guide. This is literally the quick start guide where we start everybody off inside the credit mastermind. But yeah, it breaks down to be 3 things that we want to focus on. First, we want to get our personal credit up to speed. We want to get somewhere between, I don't know, $30,000 to $60,000 in personal credit. I don't even know if that much is necessary, but let's just say, for simplicity's sake, we do that, because then if we're using 1%, that puts us at a couple $1,000s spend that we're able to use every single month. If you were to carry a small balance in the hundreds, you're still below 10% utilization. That needs to occur. Then what we do is we put all of our focus into sole proprietor. So that's step 2. And the reason why is because it's the easiest thing to do. I don't get it. It really doesn't make sense how it's all structured and how you can do that. We're basically going and getting credit under our name, but as presented as a business. So we're gonna get larger limits. We're gonna get it not reporting to our personal credit. And then once we start, most importantly, once we start using that, it's not going to drain our personal credit score. And I see this time and time again, people making this mistake. How many people did that? Raise a hand. How many people went out and then they went and got like maybe 40, 60K in personal credit and then maxed that out instead of going and getting the business credit, being patient a little bit longer, going and getting the business credit. And then if you want to go max that out, again, they don't care about utilization. They care about when you make the payment and how you're making the payment. Remember, if you need a refresher on that, go back in the channel. We've got an entire series on building business credit. Okay, and what matters on the business credit side. So then we build credit on the business side, but it's like a pseudo business. It's a sole proprietor. We're just looking for larger limits and actual capital that we can work with. Then we're gonna get that capital off the card and then start to fund it into whatever crazy idea you've got, whatever entity or real estate flip, car washes, vending machines, renting cars, whatever your gig is, right? That's when you would take that money and start to build that out. Just make sure it's under an entity, okay? LLC, S Corp, C Corp. If you wanna know the difference, we have a video on LLC versus S Corp. It got like no views. It's an amazing video. You should go check it out. Each one of these phases though, at each one of these steps, there's all kinds of banks that you could go and get, right? There's soft pull banks. There's banks that we know for a fact, if you do this, you're gonna get it, so on and so forth, right? And those are all documented on the channel. That's why I say like the hook, even though we're kind of selling the money too, I thought that would be the easiest way to start. That's not really the big hook, okay? The big hook is, like I said, knowing what to do with it. But that being said, I feel like you could go on our channel right now and go get $100,000 in credit over the next 12 months, just following the videos, just going and starting to put together and piece together all of these things, right? Okay, we put these at the beginning of the app spree, we do these later. Okay, recently, well, depending on when you're watching this, we got a whole new video coming out on the app spree process for 2023, right? Following that. And so I feel like there's everything that you need. So then, okay, how come everyone's not going out and getting $100,000 in credit? Well, a bunch of people are. That being said, I think accountability is the missing piece. Okay, so that's why a group of people coming together as a community to help each other, like accountability is such a huge piece. But then there's the mental game, there's like actually knowing the physical pieces of these different businesses, these side hustles, et cetera, et cetera. I think that's where the bulk of the attention is. Remember, life breaks down into 4 key areas: faith, fitness, family, finances. Finances is such a huge, important piece, but it's not the only one. For all those people that think that like money's gonna solve all your problems, it's not, but I challenge you, if that is the case, go out and get as much credit and funding as you possibly can and then see what your new problem is. Okay, let me finish here. On this page, I'm not gonna share all the details, but what's funny is that a lot of the links and a lot of the things that I've got on this page link back to the channel, and the channel's free, and the channel has all these videos uploaded already. But at each step, there are certain cards to go for. At the beginning of the app spree, end of the app spree, like I said, at sole proprietor level, there's cards to go for. And then when you're building out LLC credit, there's things to go for, right? Like in the beginning, Divvy, Tilful, easy to get. And you can use something like Nav or Tilful to track your business credit as you're growing it, right? We can get a couple net 30s set up, net 30s that we need, by the way, not things that we're just trying to go and get a quill order or something like that just because somebody on the internet told us to get it. We're getting supplies and setting up vendor accounts at places that we need. Once I got 5 to 7, then we can start to get into more interesting places like BHG, Sam's Club cards, Truist, we can go back to that, Navy Federal, like all of these are options on the table. And at each level, there's like 5 or 6 of these, right? So by the end of a 12 or 24 months span, depending on how long it takes you to get through each one of the phases, we are walking away with somewhere between, I don't know, $20,000 to $100,000 in credit, right? And all of that is creating a snowball effect that you can then tap into and leverage. That's really the whole point here, guys. All I'm consistently trying to do with this channel, with any product or service that we roll out, which this is it, I'm just trying to consolidate data, right? There's all this stuff all over the internet. There's all these message boards. There's all these data points. There's all this credit intel, but it's way out there all over the place. Let's bring it all together and let's start to break this down into a system. Let's start to give this thing structure. What is my step 1? What is my step 5? What is my step 10, right? And so that has been the big challenge for us while we've been in the background making something like this, is all we were trying to do is, okay, everything's already out there. Let's just make it into something now. Let's just shape it into something. So again, I think that everyone watching this, you could easily go out in the next 12 months. Maybe you need to set that as a goal and challenge yourself off of just the free videos that we make. Go and get another $100,000 in fresh credit. I'd love to follow that series. I'd love to get involved with you guys and showcase that on the channel in some sort of way. Or if you want to join the Credit Mastermind, be around more like-minded people, that is an option as well. There's 2 options. It's just walletmonkey.io/credit mastermind. On that page, you're going to see you pay $1,000 per year, or right now you pay $3,000 for a lifetime. The lifetime offer is going away January 2nd. So that $3,000 offer for a lifetime, which is insanely cheap if you compare it up against something like a Fund and Grow or some of these other big players in the market, it's insanely cheap. That's going away January 2nd. And eventually what's gonna happen with the yearly rate is the yearly rate will be $3,000. So if you wanna lock in a low rate now and you wanna take a dive and a chance on yourself with this group, links in the description. Anyways, love to hear your thoughts, comments below as usual. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Hey, you should subscribe. 60% of you are not subscribed yet, right there. Okay, bye.